Hello everyone, today we'll continue the AutoCAD lesson. Today we are going to look at some more tools, starting with the point tool. I'll explain what is the point tool. So we have AutoCAD, we have a tool called multiple points, this one. So what is the usage of this? We can specify a absolute coordinate and place point. So when I place the points in the screen, you may see tiny dots appearing. If these dots are not clear enough, we can change the dot style. So if you have these points and if you want to draw say path, you can use these spline tools here, spline fit, and use these points as references. Now to get the snaps correctly, we need to use this node snap. So the other snaps are not really important, so I can use the node snap combined with the spline tool. You can connect these points and say draw a path. Now if somebody cannot see these points, they can always go to this point style tool and change the appearance of the point. Now in the school days you may have used this kind of point method. Now we have a lot of patient symbols, kind of a point symbol also can be used. So if you just delete this line, these are the points I placed earlier. And if somebody inquires you some coordinates for the point ID, so there's a tool called ID point. Say we can just click on this to show you this XYZ coordinates. Say for an example, if you draw a circle, if you want to look at certain point, you can always use this ID tools, and here we have to get the snaps. Somebody wants somebody wants center point coordinate, this can be easily acquired. So remember this tool, change the style and this tool to get the point coordinate. uh, then we'll look at donut tool. There's a tool called donuts. The idea is if somebody wants to draw something like this kind of a shape in AutoCAD, or this kind of a shape, you don't need to go and hatch these circles. There's a direct tool called donuts. So donuts is below the point tool. So we'll start this. It's asking you the inside diameter. So donut has two diameters, outside and inside. So I'll give an inside diameter say 1, outside diameter 3, and this is the result. So kind of dots or donuts I can obtain. And if somebody wants to draw some printed circuit boards like electronic circuit boards, you can see in the picture, you can use these donuts and draw the path between the donuts. They're very helpful rather than using these hatch tools. It's a faster method. And if somebody wants to obtain a completely filled donut, we can remove the inner radius. So if I rerun the command without giving radius, I can do it. Inner radius is 0, radius is 3, so I'm getting completely filled donuts. Somebody wants this kind of a shape without the hatch. There's a variable called fill mode. So the fill mode can take 0 and 1. So now the current value is 1. Say if I just go and type fill mode, current value is 1, that's why you get a filled donut. Say if I say 0 and restart the donut tool, inside diameter 1, outside diameter 3, we can get donuts like this. So here we cannot change this number of lines around the circle. It's a constant, but you can change the diameter of the donut. So I hope you remember this tool in case you need to place something like some, this is like a tree also. So in the plan views you can just show these kind of points, and as well as in the printed circuit boards also you can use this donut tool effectively. Next we look at how to draw infinite lines. So there's a tool called construction lines and ray tools. The construction line is the actual infinite line tool. So if you look at these tools, we can just give some coordinates and draw it. Once you start to draw, you see there is no end into this line, so it's an infinite lengthy line. So if you want some lengthy lines in the drawing, this is an ideal tool. And there are some options available. Horizontal infinite lines I can draw, or I can draw vertical finite lines, or else there's another option called angle. I can say give say 45 degrees and quickly draw 45-degree angle infinite lines. Then there's another tool called offset and bisect. So I will discuss what is meant by bisect. For an example, I have a drawing like this. If someone wants to draw a line which bisects this angle, so what are the methods we can use? So the some people who don't know AutoCAD may try to calculate this angle. So we can go here and we can calculate this angle to show you 70 degrees, and you can try to draw 35 line here, but it's going to be somewhat tough. So here we have an easy tool called bisect. To get rid of that problem, you select the bisect tool, click here, click these endpoints. The software will automatically divide this into two equal angles. This line is infinite, so if you want to have a finite length, you use the break tools available here we discussed last day. Break at point and just use the nearest snaps and break somewhere from here, so we can get a finite line. So this side is infinite, same break tool can be used. So this is the point I need to break, so this can be hit. So I can quickly obtain a bisected line from this infinite tool. So there's another tool called ray tool. Ray tool is different from infinite. Ray has only one direction, like a light ray. So you don't have options here. You just give the starting point, ending point. So it's like a light beam going infinitely from a certain point. So ray tool doesn't have much options, but construction line or infinite line has a lot of options available in AutoCAD. So these topics I'm going to discuss later. So we will look at another area. So almost chapter 3 is almost completed, and we talk about this tutorial. Now this tutorial shows you some grid. So we didn't use this grid to draw any designs. Earlier when we discussed the tutorial questions in chapter 2, tutorial questions, they have given us, they ask us to count the grid, count the squares. So if you want, you can design these squares as you wish. Now this is 1 by 1 square. So here we are getting a square net. Here this is called the grid. Grid is coming automatically, but if someone wants to change the grid sizes, it's possible. Now there's a tool called grid mode, so you can turn on the grid. And there's another one called right click, and you can go to this snap settings. Now when you go to snap settings here, you will find the settings of the grid. Now if I want to have grid sizes 1 by 1, you have to change this to 1 by 1. And now if you press OK, from here to, I'm zooming in, from here, from this major line to this major line, it's 1 unit. So this is, we have 5 squares, 1 2 3 4 5, this side 1 2 3 4 5. So we have a 5 by 5 square, small squares, and from here to here it's 1 unit. So if I want to replicate the graph sheet, we need to have 10 squares here. So we can just we can go to snap settings and place here 10. So the meaning of this one is, I have say uh, a grid of 1 by 1, and in the middle we have 10 squares. It's like a graph sheet. So if I press OK, now we'll find 10 squares here. So if you just measure this from here to here, this will be, I'll use the measuring tools. I'll show you. Snap will not work perfectly, so it says 10. So from here to here it's 10 millimeters. From here to here it's in x direction 10 millimeters, y direction 10 millimeters. We have 10 square. So I replicated the graph paper in the software. So the idea is, you come here and give 1. This is the size of a small square. We have 10 square. So we have 1 by 1, 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter square, big square. And now if I want to draw something, you can use these grid intersections and draw. For an example, I don't need to count the squares. I can use these grid intersections and draw my design. So if you get this example, they have used this 3-point option, center, start center angle option, start center end options in AutoCAD. So I will try to use these grid intersections and try to draw this example. So there's a tool called snap on. So when I turn this on, I'm getting some jumps. So it's a rectangular snap. It's xy, in xy direction. It's not an isometric snap or polar snap. XY snap. The idea of 0.5 is, when I start to draw a line, you see my mouse is now jumping. So it's here 0.5, here 1, another 0.5, likewise 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, likewise my mouse is jumping 0.5 by 0.5. If I come here and change the settings to 1 here, automatically this will change 1, because it says equal x and y spacing. Now when I start to draw, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can quickly use these grid intersections and do my design without counting the squares even. I can quickly do it. So I don't need to put dimensions in my drawing. So for an example, if I try to complete this drawing, I have made the grid now 1 unit. I have 10, I have the graph paper now. So I'll try to show you example. We can just start somewhere here. Always start a drawing from a straight line, then it's easy. So I'll just start this line, 1 2 3, 3 squares, 1 2 3. So here I'm not typing anything, goes up 1 minute up, and here they say start center angle. So I use the arc tool, start center angle. Start is already taken, center is here, angle is also 180. I don't need to type this one, even the grid snaps are nicely working. So this is the line tool again, then going up by 2 units, then a 3-point option. So I'm going here, get the 3-point option, first point, second point, third point. Then we have 1 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. Then they use start center end, sorry, start center end, start center end. So you see, I quickly drew this example, I didn't type anything. Without typing anything from the grids, I completed this example in a quick time. So it's not a difficult tool. So when you practice at home, just try this example and this example and see how to use the grid to draw your designs. So you don't need to type any dimensions. Set up the grid and use the grid snaps as we discussed. So I have already completed chapter 3. So some of the tutorial questions I didn't do. Actually, I did only this tutorial question. So if you have any issues regarding the tutorials, other questions, just ask from us. We'll try to upload answers in the coming lessons. Now we look at how to use divide tool in our designs. So there's a tool called divide next to the point tool. So I may not do all the tools available in AutoCAD. I'm doing only the tools important for our 2D work. So I'll use the divide tool available. So here it says please select the object to divide. Now I selected it. It asks me number of segments. I say 5. So you see nothing happens. It didn't break the line, but it was divided into 5 pieces. It's like a divider in the manual class. So if I just come here and look at the change the point style, you see it has divided the line into 5 equal segments, 1 2 3 4 5. So you cannot see the small tiny dot. That's why I change this into I change the point style into a different shape. So if you have some road, or if you have a object which should be divided into equal segments, this tool is really useful. Next we look at some snap settings. So actually we have I'm now in chapter 4. So we have discussed this grid tool now. Earlier I showed you with an example. There's another grid called polar snaps. So if I just come here and change this to polar tools, you see x and y spacings are similar, but there's another tool coming as polar tracking. So what is the meaning of this now? It says increment angle 90. Say if I just say 45, when you try to draw a line, you see when I get near to 45 degrees, software will show me the 45 line. So it's very easy. I don't need to type it. So 45, again it will show me 90. Say from here it shows me 135. So multiples of 45 it shows me. So here if I give more angles here, additional angles such as 30, now he will show me both 30 and this is 30 as well as 45. So I can quickly get the angles without typing. So if you just turn the dynamic inputs on, you see when it comes to 30, it's very easy now. I don't need to go there and type that. Here also 45. Here 60. He is not taking 60. He is taking only 30. And multiples of 45, 45, 90, and 35 likewise. So please remember this tool is also maybe important for you when you try to draw angles polar tracking on. It's different from object snaps. So object snaps and grid snaps are different. So we have discussed some of the snaps tools. Now we look at what is the meaning of geometric center. So it's a new tool available in the new software. Early AutoCAD didn't have. If someone wants to get the center of this rectangle, now early days we have to use the midpoints, and nowadays we have the geometric center. So we can easily touch this rectangle and it will show you this midpoint. So it's very easy. Say if I just get a polygon, 6 sides, center, drive, in like this, and touch this, I can get the center easily. So geometric center is only available for specific shapes like polygon, rectangle, like etc. We have discussed the quadrant. Everyone can understand what is intersection. Extension is something like this, so it will show you the extended lines. Now insertion is when you import an object. When you copy paste from AutoCAD files, you can use the insertion option. And there's another one called parallel option. Apparent intersection is also virtual intersection. Parallel option is very handy. So if I want to, I have a line like this. Snaps off. If I want to draw a parallel line to this line, we can touch this guy and get the parallelism. So parallelism will work when this is on. We just touch this like this. Still it's not working. It's okay. So you can just touch this one and get the parallel snaps easily. So just try it and see and get it. So we have actually completed theory parts to chapter 4 now, and there's one more to discuss. So if you want to draw a circle in the middle of 2 points, there's a very easy tool available. So I'll show you with an example. So if somebody wants to draw a circle right in the middle of these 2 points, normally what we do is we just draw a line like this and use the midpoint snaps. Go to circle tool, get the midpoint here and draw, and maybe deleting this later. It takes a lot of additional time. So rather than doing all these things, we can just come here, use the center radius, and right click here and go to snap override. So some of the snap overrides I already told you. There's a special snap override called meet between 2 points. This will helps you to locate the middle point between the 2 points. Now these 2 points, you can locate the middle and draw the circle the middle point exactly. So this is a very handy tool. We don't need to have these two circles. Just to show you an example, you need to have 2 points only. Can be points of an edge or just some 2D points. This tool may be also important in your design work if you want to reduce your time. So I think this is the end of chapter 4. So if you want, you can remember the shortcut keys. Important shortcut key is this object snaps on and off. Sometimes we may need to turn this full thing off. So we have individual buttons as well as the full button. Sometimes we may need to turn the dynamic mode off. And there's a tool called auto mode. I didn't discuss this really. Early days when I try to draw a vertical or horizontal line, now I can't get it exactly the horizontal or vertical references. So if you turn this on, you can quickly get vertical and horizontal references, but you can't draw at an angle. So you have to deselect this again to draw at an angle. If you enable this again, you have only 90-degree lines. So remember this auto mode also when you work with AutoCAD. Shortcut key is F8. So normally we have to remember F8, F3, and yes, that's or F9. So F8 is the most important shortcut key. So this is the end of chapter 4, and you can go through. Sorry, we did some tutorials in chapter 4. I will go through the tutorials. Sorry. We worked last example earlier, so you can try these questions at chapter 4. Use the grids I showed you and try to draw this example. So next day we are going to complete chapter 5. We are going to discuss these rectangle arrays, these array tools, as well as I'm going to discuss these fillet tools in the next lecture. So you hope you understood today's concepts. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.